Hi, I'm Paul Walters, pastor at Lutheran Church of the Master. Welcome to Celebrity Interviews with Paul. We have with us today Pastor Lauren Kirsh-Carr, and I have to read this so I get it right. She is assistant to the bishop of the Southeast Michigan Synod for Congregational and Synod Life and director of Licensed Lay Ministry and a member of Lutheran Church of the Master. Welcome, Lauren.
Yay, thank you, Pastor Walters.
It is so good. It's good to have you here. I hope you appreciate
I've never been a celebrity before.
There you go. My REI co-op hat for my COVID
nice.
hair because it's driving me crazy and I can't get a haircut. There we go. Now, we know your long title and all that, but what does that mean to be all those things, wearing all those hats?
Yeah, I do wear a lot of hats. It means that I work with a variety of different things. Call process is a big chunk of what I do. So when congregations have a pastoral vacancy, I spend lots of time with church councils and call committees and council presidents and candidates, helping match congregations and new pastors or deacons with them. I also work on, spend a lot of time on synod events like the Synod Assembly that we had to postpone this year, and our autumn leadership event for our pastors and deacons and licensed lay ministers. I know there's a ton of other things I do. I coordinate the licensed lay ministry program, which trains lay folks in our synod in theology and in practical ministry so that they can serve in their own congregations or in other congregations across the synod.
Awesome. And now you are married to Pastor Bill Kirsh-Carr, who is pastor at Holy Trinity in Livonia. You have 3 teenage kids at home. And so how is life in pandemic? How's quarantine treating you?
It's actually not been that bad.
Okay.
We seem to have found a rhythm in at least family life.
Okay.
My husband, Bill, broke his foot about 4 weeks ago, so that has made things a little bit more complicated. He's in a boot, can't really go up and down the stairs.
Nice.
So that's exciting. But the kids are old enough to sort of manage themselves, and schoolwork is most challenging for the 11-year-old.
Yep.
The 15-year-old is just doing her thing in a room most days, all day. And then the 18-year-old finished school in the end of April, and he's just kind of hanging out, learning to live stream video games.
Oh, well,
and
that's
subscribers to his stream now. So.
Okay, that's a life skill. Never know.
Yeah, apparently.
Now, I know that for the Synod too, now you get to manage every Zoom meeting that the Synod has because nobody else seems capable of doing such a thing. But I also know that in the last couple of weeks, your big focus has been on writing documents to help guide us through a reopening process as we look towards at some point in the future after Governor Whitmer gets us to phase 5, talk about returning to public worship. So how did you go about coming up with that document? What was the process like? Share a little bit about that journey.
Sure. So we put a task force together of mostly deans. You were part of that, Pastor Walters, as well as Pastor Jonathan Hireman, Pastor Jen Kiefer, Ms. Robin McCants, one of the other assistants to the bishop, and Pastor Sarah Mayer Flatt from Gloria Dei in Tecumseh. And the process involved me spending quite a bit of time reading a lot of stuff from different synods, from the Episcopal Diocese of Michigan, from the Wisconsin Council of Churches. We borrowed heavily from those documents that had already been produced and then made it our own. I also spent time on some webinars with epidemiologists and a conference call with our own congregation. And a couple of physicians who were very helpful in my thinking about what it looks like to come back into a worship space together.
What was the most surprising thing that you found, or upsetting, or?
For me, it's the singing part. Church just doesn't seem like church without singing to me, and so that's hard. I also know that it's necessary. We've gotten pretty clear advice from physicians and epidemiologists around the danger in singing, and know that we've got to take that one really slowly and carefully.
it's kind of amazing to think of singing as a dangerous activity. You know, some of the
I
new
know.
language.
Even and I'm in the for fun in the Birmingham concert band, and
Hmm.
I can't imagine going into a band room right now.
Right,
It
right, and
just seems
yeah,
like a
which
germ
you
factory. It's probably always been a germ factory, but I never gave it much thought before.
what's your instrument of choice?
Clarinet.
Clarinet, yeah. Yeah, a lot of blowing through that with lots of air and particles coming
Yeah.
out, huh?
Hmm.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
not fun to think about.
No, not right
Um,
now.
One of the things I think about too is I wonder if people return to public worship and they walk in and they see blue tape around pews and they see everybody wearing a mask, and then there's the music is going to be just instrumental and things like that. I wonder how people are going to feel about continuing to be part of that, if that's a community that they're going to be comfortable with. And I wonder how many are going to walk out and go, "Huh, that video wasn't so bad," sitting on my couch in my PJs with my coffee.
Yeah, I wonder about that too. And I think we are just going to have to be comfortable with folks who would rather be at home and see
Mhm.
something that feels safer for them right now.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah.
there'll be a day when we're back to doing what we used to do, I think.
There
We
will.
just aren't, it's just not going to be as soon as we want it to be.
Yeah, this is true. I'm starting to think of in the context of being in the wilderness, the Israelites wandering in the wilderness,
Mm-hmm.
and wondering how long and what that looks like. So, um, at the same time, there's hope. There's opportunities to get back
Hmm.
together, and at least we have Zoom. Um,
We do.
for better or for worse, I'm not sure where we'd be without it right now.
Me either. I mean, I think for a lot of our congregations, it's not so much the product that's being produced or the sermon being preached as it is being able to see each other
Hmm.
and to see their pastors in person, live,
Yep.
um, and to know their friends and family are safe
Hmm.
and
And
gathered in one space. So I'm
right.
I'm really grateful for this, even though I think it's exhausting to be on Zoom
Well, I
all the
think you
time.
you yeah, I said one time, if I have to schedule one more Zoom meeting and make sure I upload the link correctly to MailChimp and to Facebook and to share it, and then, just it adds one
Yeah.
more layer, but we get to be together and see faces and things like that. What are there things that what gives you hope right now?
Um, gives me hope. I think our young people. I think about my kids and how much they've lost and how well they're managing this right now, even though it's not perfect on
Hmm.
any given day. They have been really kind of gentle with themselves uh, about how this has happened and what they're
Hmm.
going to do next. And I think there's a lot of hope in them. I think they're smart and they're not just my kids, but that
Right.
their generation,
Yeah.
smart and thoughtful. And they're
I,
going to be super resilient after this.
when it started off and it was like, we're going to do this for a couple weeks, and then it kept being extended. The first couple of weeks it was like, well, we can do this for a couple of weeks. I am amazed at watching my children too, being able to continue to connect, to be able to do school, to
Hmm.
continue to engage, and to continue to find various outlets for themselves through FaceTime and Zoom and all those things. So
Oh
yeah.
yeah, and even my
Yeah.
daughter, the figure skater, sees her coach twice a week for off ice training, and I mean
Awesome.
she's out in the middle of our front yard doing jumps and spins, and the neighborhood is watching.
Now,
But it keeps her connected
yeah.
to that sport. So
Now, I have teased you that your life sometimes sounds like a country song. You had I know that your husband Bill broke his foot and he's in a scooter, and then I guess
yeah,
crawling up and down stairs. Your dog
scooting.
your dog Bubba, who which is a very country and western kind of
I
name
know.
for a dog. I assume one of your kids named him.
No, he came named that
Oh,
way. We
came
got him when
named.
he was
Okay,
7,
got him when he
so
was 7, and you had him till he was like 16, right?
almost 15. Yeah,
Yeah, in dog years.
yeah, old. He was very
Very
old.
old, and I know that you had to put him to sleep recently,
Yeah,
sadly.
that
So
was hard.
yeah. Well, I got 2 dogs, and oh my gosh, if they're gonna break my heart someday, I know it. I know it.
Yeah, yeah,
Um,
that's the problem with him.
but so you have all this stuff, and plus, the wonders of the pandemic and all the other responsibilities. Where do you find joy for yourself?
Um, I lately in exercise, which I would never have said before, um, walking at least a couple miles a day, yoga every day. That gives me a break from Zoom meetings and from emails and phone calls, and
Hmm.
to clear my head and gets me outside.
Yep.
And then we used to do family movie night when the kids were little,
Hmm.
but teenagers, they're gone on Friday nights, and
Right.
well, they can't go anywhere now. So we reinstituted family movie night 9 weeks ago, because I
Okay.
know this because we rotate who gets to pick the movie, and
Okay.
we're almost through the rotation a second time. This will be the 10th Friday,
Okay.
um, and so it's pizza and movies on Friday night,
Awesome.
and the conversations at the table have gotten longer,
Hmm. Hmm.
especially with the two older ones. They'll sit and
Yeah.
talk to us where they would have just snarfed their food and run
Right.
away. So,
Right. Well, we have dinner together a whole lot more often than we
oh
had during
yeah,
the regular school year, which has been a gift. It's
yep.
been nice to have everybody sit down at the table at the same time, and
It's a
at least
lot of
for a
cooking.
few minutes. Yeah. Yeah. The kitchen. My wife has a sign that announces when the kitchen is closed, and sometimes that gets paid attention to. So
Yeah, we had all kinds of rules about not taking food into family rooms or bedrooms, or that was our coronavirus rules.
yeah, they're gone. Yeah.
But the number one rule was don't be a jerk,
Okay.
and that one has pretty much stood. I mean, sometimes
Well,
there's jerky moments from everybody, but
right. Right.
for the most part,
Good. Good.
yeah, it's not bad.
Excellent.
I've
Well,
enjoyed the time with the kids, and so it's good. And my husband, the scooter,
the scooter. Well, I
the
want to
scooter.
thank you for your time. I really do. I celebrate the work you did on the guidelines and documents for the synod. It was
Thanks.
very timely and essential, and I know a lot of background work went into it, and that'll help guide our congregation, but also our synod as we move forward and look to a time when we're able to regather in person. And in the meantime, blessings to you on your Zoom journeys. They will be
You too.
many, many to come. And thank you for your service and everything that you do. Blessings. You got any final
Thanks.
words of wisdom or words of grace for the people?
Stay home. Stay
All right.
safe.
Sounds
Listen to your
good.
pastor. All
Thank you,
right.
Pastor. Take care.
Thank
Blessings.
you. Yep.